Hey, it's Celisse, and I'm going to talk to you about how to create grooves in your playing. Grooves really meaning how to create something that kind of feels like you've got a full band, even though it's just you. When I think about my playing, always I'm thinking about bass and drums. Of course, there are keys and strings and brass and all these other things that can come into music. But when I think about core components, in particular for my music, especially guitar driven music, I'm thinking about guitar, bass, and drums. So now let's say I'm on a gig and I don't have a band with me, it's just me playing solo. Well, here's how I think about creating something. Let's say I'm playing a blues and I'm hanging out on a G minor 7 chord, right? I could play I mean, technically, those are the chords. I'm playing the thing. That might be the how fast I want it to go and all of that. But it's not incredibly exciting to listen to. So the first thing I would think is, well, if I had a drummer with me, what would I want that drummer to play? Well, right? So let's like, that's kind of interesting. Maybe just on downbeat of every other bar. Maybe I do it twice. It's kind of getting somewhere, right? Still maybe not entirely the whole thing, but it's a little more interesting than just quarter notes. So the next thing I would think about, I've got the drums, this kind of idea of using my hand. And just so we're clear, I'm muting these strings with one hand. This is an important thing to practice. I'd probably start with just playing quarter notes on how to mute. Take your fingers, you lay them lightly on top of those strings. I'm taking my right hand with my pick and I'm hitting it across. Now, if I want to go up and down, if I'm thinking about the drum, I'm kind of doing a lot of downstroke things, right? So that's how I'm doing that. Now, if I go, okay, I want to add the bass. I want to think, what would be a bass thing? Well, instead of playing each thing, maybe I give the bass some room. If we were in a band situation, the guitarist, me, I might play that first chord at the beginning, and then the rest of the time I'm giving to the bass. Right? So now what we're listening to all of a sudden now is guitar, bass, and drums. We've got the guitar at the very beginning, and then it's the bass and the drums going back and forth. Guitar again. Does that make sense? All of a sudden, it fills up all this space. And I got to tell you, you can play the simplest chords, the simplest musical concepts, but if you have a rhythmic element going on, people will be there with you for a long time. So if I could suggest anything to work on and to really practice in trying to get this concept down, I would start with the metronome, muting strings. Put it on, I don't know, start at like 80 beats per minute. Like really try to be together with the metronome. I would do the same thing if we're staying in that sort of G minor land. Let's say now put the metronome on, and now I'm trying to play those bass notes along, right? Right? Now maybe I just would add those two things. It's like sort of the muting, not even the chord yet, just the bass notes and the muting, right? So I'm going. Maybe the last thing I would add is that chord. This is a lot of what I do, whether I'm playing solo or with a band. I just think I really like to think about how I can make all these things happen with this one instrument. And it's a lot more than just chords. If you are muting your strings, if you're using this thing as a drum, as a bass, it makes everything so much more interesting and so much more exciting. And you can find something that feels really unique to you.